9th of January, SS Berea, Miss Pavlova's cabin. Hey guys, Lex here, back for some more of the Great Ace Attorney. Last time, we did some investigating, and I believe we figured out how the bolt was locked. The game made it pretty obvious. Anyway, let's continue to the third part of this episode. Somehow, the door to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we made an emergency stop. Sato-san took a deep breath, then gently slid back the bolt. You, what are you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters? You both look unhurt. Good. Yes, we are fine, thank you. What on earth happened? We heard something about we were going to collide with another ship. Yes, it appears to have been a false report, though. Oh, how did that happen? There's a dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone might have thought he saw a ship ahead. This person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why we made an emergency stop. Everything's in chaos. Passengers are screaming. Crew are running around everywhere. This first class area is the only quiet part of the ship at the moment. Oh, I see. Someone triggered the alarm? Does that mean that someone pressed a button outside? Ah! You wicked intruder! Dressed all in black, you are the devil. Sorry, me? Been caught a lot of things before, but devil is a first. You opened my traveling case. How could you? What? No, we didn't touch it. That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already open when we came into your cabin. Inspector! Yes? Arrest this man, I know he did it. He's a criminal. Is it not enough that he has killed a man? Duh, and he is stowaway as well. If Vixen promises not to steal chicken, do you believe? Take him away. He is trespasser as well as everything else. Stowing away, trespassing, killing. She is right. You are devil. Doesn't look good, does it? There is cell below deck. Throw him in. Tomorrow we dock in Hong Kong. Then we give you straight to police. Wait, a cell? Please, Inspector Hosonaga, is there nothing you can do? This is a Russian vessel. I really have no jurisdiction here. After my last effort to appeal to the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options. This is terrible. This is a real crisis. I've got to find a solution. Immediately. If I say objection really loud, maybe that would work. I'll just talk to them. Oh wait, I have to examine. But she was pretty taller. Miss Pavlova, can I get out? Listen, I'm sorry that we snuck in here without your permission, but get out now. We just needed to investigate in here to help understand what happened to Russians. It's no use. She's not going to listen. I need to find someone who will. Oh, someone who'll listen to me? Obviously this guy. Please, just give me a little more time. I do nothing for you, except show you way to ship's prison cell. Thanks but no thanks. But I'm innocent. I didn't kill anyone. And trespassing and stowing away. Well, you know, sometimes life can lead you down some unusual avenues, and well... Enough, you are guilty. Ship cell is only place fit for you. Come on, there has to be someone, some savior to come rescue me from this crisis. There. Got yourself in a difficult situation here. By entering this cabin uninvited, I mean. Sorry, I was just so desperate to find a clue. I'm afraid there's really nothing more I can do to help you. If I push my luck any further, a punch to the face will be the least of my worries. I'm really sorry. I have to take responsibility for giving you the freedom to investigate Miss Pavlov's cabin. Now this has happened, I'll have to report to the captain at once. Really need some help here. I need a savior to rescue me from this crisis. Jesus, are you there? Just need to keep calm and focus on the task at hand, which is investigating. Don't touch my things. You want me to show you where the crawfish hibernates? Hiya! Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think you're doing? Wow, everyone's attacking me, and I was just starting to think she was my friend. Is there anyone? Oh, god damn it! What the? What are you doing up there? Mr. Sholmes? Naturally, I was analyzing what a weight of 20,000 rubles feels like on one's head. Have I not told you that as a detective, it is my business to know what other people do not? This isn't mere tomfoolery, my boy. Oh, no. Well, why were you hanging from that hook before then? Isn't it obvious to properly assess the weight of the 20,000 rubles naturally? I wish to determine if it would bend that conceited-looking hook on the wall so full of brag and bounce. I never know whether to take this man seriously or not. You again, the great detective. Ah, Inspector, I confess I've been looking for you. I have something to report to you most urgently. Well, you might try looking for me somewhere other than the hook on the wall next time. What is to report? Speak. An urgent report from a great detective can mean but one thing. Yes. A case of the curious murder that took place last night here on the vessel, the steamship Buria, has been solved. By me, naturally. Huh? What? Really? Yes, I have eliminated all other possibilities. No other explanations exist. So, allow me to illuminate all your minds. For I am about to reveal my greatest detective's greatly admired Great Deduction to the case. Yay. Ha, you have solved it. Even Hedgehog understands this case. We all know who was responsible for killing student boys this morning when we found criminal in wardrobe. It is this stowaway, and he has handcuffs to prove it. And I do it! The trouble is, there doesn't appear to be anyone else who could have killed the victim. Because, as everyone knows, the cabin door was bolted shut from the inside. That means the culprit must be someone who was inside the cabin. Yes, it was called a locked room mystery in detective stories. The locked room. That is point. The room was locked. Well, I can't deny that. There's no way the bolt could have been drawn across from outside the cabin. Unless... You are all quite mistaken. The cabin next door is not a so-called locked room at all. What? The bolt is broken. Ah, yes, there is another entrance. An entrance used last night by the culprit in order to gain access to the cabin despite the bolted door. What other entrance? We never discovered one. Why, it gapes open-mouthed at you even as we speak. The ventilator, man. Ventilator? You think this is funny? I cannot even put my arm through that hole. That's because your arm is as thick as tree trunks. You're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through that tiny opening? It's not possible. Ah, but it is. And last night, the victim even witnessed the murder in the act of passing through the ventilator. Mr. Sholmes, do you mean? Are you referring to the words Kazuma-sama wrote in his diary? 1:23 a.m. I could hear a faint whistling sound. 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Precisely, my dear madam. But what does it mean? What is the speckled band? The answer to that particular conundrum is in this very cabin. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? There is a distinct element of danger, but fear not, I am ready. What I'm about to expose for you all will shock you to your cores. Hisha! Behold! Gah! What the? It was a snake! Allow me to introduce you all to the band, the Speckled Band. A snake? Indubitably. Mr. Sholmes, just one thing. Pray, what troubles you? Well, that snake isn't really speckled, is it? Looks more stripy, wouldn't you say? Yes, you're right. I think in this case you'd have to call it a striped band, wouldn't you? You both see and observe with distinction, however. Do you not think that that is precisely the trap in which the culprit wishes you to fall? Oh my goodness, really? It's a trap? Oh, exactly. I think perhaps it is time I explain the intricacies of my train of thought. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova? I'm sorry for the young man who died, but that is all. His death is nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. There are two conclusions I have drawn from the facts. Number one, last night your friend infiltrated the victim's cabin. And number two, that same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life. Oh. He turned white as a bowl of rice again. Sholmes must be right. He's hit the nail on the head. I'm expecting him to say the snake strangled him, but I'm guessing that's not what happened. This young woman's friend killed Mr. Asogi. Looks like he can't speak with that snake coiled around his head. I would advise a little movement as possible, Seaman. You wouldn't want the fangs of that long friend of your neck. So everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Yay. Intruder's identity. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So we ask, what the nature of this intruder that stole the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was your friend, with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Without a doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. And yet, fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band, whereas, regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can this give, pray? What was the sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? Oh, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying, but failing to conceal, can only be the snake sloth's skin. Evidently, after this subtle and horrible crime, this most deadly friend of yours shed its original skin, no? I don't know what you are talking about. Last night, through the ventilator visible in this cabin, your then speckled friend slithered next door. Using the bell cord on the other side as a bridge, the serpent silently descended into the victim's quarters. In the dim light, it appeared to the young gentleman who was about to lose his life as a speckled band. In summary, the nature of this friend of yours, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a rare breed of snake whose markings change each time it slows its skin. Snake so dreadful, we can only imagine it would be found in the deepest depths of India. So that's not what it was. How Mr. Asogi died. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter. The grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data of which have been apprised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. Now, if we take that as fact, We can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Oh no, it's therapy? Yes. An examination of the deceased body will prove the cause of death conclusively. The almost, but not quite, imperceptible puncture wounds left by the victim's fangs will seal the truth. Yes, the vestiges of the snakebite delivered by your terrifying friend. This makes no sense. There is no point feigning ignorance, Miss Pavlova. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right. You hid evidence that links you to the victim's death in the traveling case. When we first met in this cabin, it came to my attention that your case moved periodically. Your serpent assassin was restless inside, no doubt. You don't. Are you stupid or something? It is telling that the victim made note of a low whistling sound that he heard minutes before his end. That was your signal, was it not? The sound you had used to train your serpent friend. To train? Indeed, you'd put the serpent through the ventilator, and waited, and wait. After a period, you'd summon it back with a whistle. You couldn't know if the animal had done its duty, so you would listen for signs of life next door. The victim appeared not to have been dispatched. You'd release the snake once more. Do you deny this snake has undergone such training? It's not true. Having slithered through the ventilator and down the bell cord, the creature needed only to sink its fangs in once, and its venom would course through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. That is the true nature of the Speckled band that took the poor young man's life. There can be no doubt. My logic is infallible. That's wrong too. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' Great Deduction of the Speckled Band. Wow. That means I'm innocent. Throw her overboard. Get her out of here. Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snake as a killing machine. There on the floor, you will observe a saucer of milk. The promise of food is the key to training any creature. Incredible. You solved the mystery. Throw her out. Amazing. Your Great Deduction really lives up to its name. I see now why Herlock Sholmes has become such a household name. My dear man, it was nothing remarkable. As the Russians say, I could have done it with one left hand. Could I venture an opinion, Mr. Sholmes? But of course. What's on your mind? It's just about your deductions before. Some things don't quite make sense to me. I welcome questions to my method and will answer both loudly and proudly. Oh, well, good. First of all, snakes are like egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile family. You are well informed, madam. And reptiles, don't drink milk. really only mammals that like to drink milk, you see. So I'm not sure it would be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward. No matter. No doubt Miss Pavlova used some other treat to encourage her pet to do her bidding. Milk was merely an example, the logic holds. Well, there's something else. Snakes have no ears. Ah. Yes, so I'm not sure it would really be possible to signal a snake by whistling. But madam, what of the tales from Arabia? Have you not heard of the snakes that dance to the sound of the flute? It's the shaking of the flute that causes it. I think perhaps the performers play their music in time with the snake's natural movements. Oh, I see. No hands, no feet, no ears. These creatures are so inept to be practically useless. Don't take it out on the snake, Mr. Schultz. There's one other thing. You have more. You have more. Snakes use the scales on their bellies to propel themselves. So, I'm not really sure that a snake could manage to climb up a flat bell cord like the ones in these cabins. Then it could try harder. Please don't be angry with me, Mr. Schultz. The point is, even if the snake had got through the ventilator to the next door cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. What I'm trying to say is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine the snake could have had a part in this. Hey, don't tell him that. I was innocent. I think we need to step in and help again, Mr. Naruto. Oh no, you don't mean... Yes, we need to modify Mr. Sholm's latest deductions and turn them into great ones they ought to be. I had a feeling this was coming. Alright, let's give it a try. Just what I was waiting for, Mr. Naruto. Yes, right. Shisha. So you cast your eyes down onto your wrist again? What? Yay, I'm free. You've done it again. Your handcuffs are gone. Where did they go? Fear not, I shall see that they're restored after our work is done. Really wish you'd leave them off. Now, everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. She does have a pained expression on her face. Yes, that's true. She looks as though Kazuma-sama's death is weighing heavily on her mind. But you're not sure Mr. Holmes has read her quite correctly, is this it? Could there be some other way to interpret her expression then? Let's take a moment and really look very closely at Miss Pavlova. Oh. Oh, Naruto-san, look. That looks like a very painful wound. Looks like a scratch made by some kind of small animal. Really recently, too. Well, whatever scratched her doesn't appear to be around here. Ah, the snake's claws scratched at her. Something Sholmes would say. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, the claw scratch smarts with pain. Indeed, and simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh. Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch sometime last night?
Ah. When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And I am sad the pain from this wound is first.
And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on the portentous night? Why, naturally, it was this friend which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, I suspected another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing servant. Seems likely that the scratch mark on the back of Miss Pavlova's hand is made by this friend of hers, does it? Except, snakes don't have claws, do they?
No, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet on which claws might grow.
Well then, if that snake isn't her pet, what is the true identity of this friend of hers?
We should follow her gaze, Naruto-san. That's where we'll find the answer.
Oh, it's a cat. Wait, where'd the snake come from then?
Oh, he has a bell.
Oh, look at the photograph in this frame. This must be something Miss Pavlova brought with her when she ran away.
She's exceptionally beautiful, isn't she?
Yes, that's true, but personally, it's the little black creature she's holding that's caught my eye. Weirdo. Maybe we'd better take a closer look at this. Must be a stage costume she's wearing.
It's quite stunning. I should like to have something like that.
And she's wearing the 20,000 rubles on her head as well. Look.
It's called a tiara, Naruto-san. You shouldn't think of it purely in terms of its value.
Must be strong-willed woman to turn her back on the world stage and run away all on her own. What the bell? Nope. Look at this. Look at the little cat Miss Pavlova is cuddling here.
Oh, what a cute little kitten. It could vie with you, couldn't it, Naruto-san, for the blackest outfit.
A black kitten. From the look of this picture at least, Miss Pavlova seems very attached to it.
Yes! Yes!
Whose snake is it then? Without doubt, your friend, the little kitten we see before us. Yes, the scratch on the back of your hand makes this abundantly clear.
Oh no!
The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you?
Darka is my best friend. I can't leave her behind.
Darka would appear to be Russian blue. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observation on the night in question tell of a speckled band, whereas regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit the description in any way. What explanation can we give this prey? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night?
Oh, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this.
Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary, even now hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying but failing to conceal can only be the snake's sloughed skin.
You see that? She just took something out of her pocket and hid it behind her back.
If she just left it in her pocket, no one would ever have known.
Oh yes, ploys like this are Mr. Sholm's specialty. He's ever so cleverly forced to reveal something.
I thought deduction was a specialty, or maybe making me believe that was a ploy too.
Anyway, I find it hard to believe that that's the skin of a snake. In which case...
Yes, what is Miss Pavlova hiding behind her back? Well, it is speckled and it is a band, but what is it? It seems to be soft and fluffy, a long piece of cloth of some sort, and it looks like the handle at one end. Must be a cat's toy. This sort is common in the West, apparently. How is that a toy for cats?
Cats like to chase the band around and paw at it. Kittens in particular love this sort of play. You only need to wave it in front of them and they pounce to catch it.
Ha, that sounds positively adorable.
Yes!
Yes, the thing you're trying but failing to conceal is, a cat's toy. Precisely, and the true nature of it, of the now infamous Speckled band.
Ah!
And it was this toy that you dangled through the ventilator. You waved it around, I presume. Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it. But why? For what reason? My dear boy, there can only be one answer to that. After her feline friend disappeared through the ventilator into the neighboring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use the speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return. In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a blithesome Russian blue breed of cat by the name of Darka. A truly troublesome feline young Darka is proving to be. She must be caged once found. You will forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet Miss Pavlova.
It was after I gave her food last night. That's when it happened. She scratched the back of my hand, then ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she disappeared through the ventilator. Aka, she's so naughty.
Oh shit, there's another topic. Moving on, we come to the heart of this matter, the grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data which I have been appraised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury.
Ah!
The cat strangled her. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom.
What Mr. Sholmes says is true. There were no signs of a wound anywhere on Kazuma-sama's body.
That's right. But Mr. Sholmes seems to be unaware of one very important detail. Kazuma wasn't poisoned.
Yes, it would seem so. Let's give him the information he's missing now.
Yes!
Idiot. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Ah yes, I knew it was one or the other. Hmm?
His neck was...
Indeed, the breaking of the cervical vertebrae is fatal. Only the Goliath would be strong enough to survive that. Seaman Stroganov isn't some immortal freak, you know. The jury is out, anyway. We have on good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as fact, spin, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime.
Oh no, could there be?
Yes, an examination of the deceased body will prove the cause of death conclusively. Kazuma died because his neck was broken. In other words, he was probably struck by something or someone.
Yes, that's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapon has been found though.
Presumably, Darker didn't silently creep up behind Kazuma and deal him a fatal blow.
I suppose. It's possible that he had a fall and hit the ground awkwardly. It would have been a terrible act of misfortune that he broke his neck completely by accident.
Ah yes, a bad fall could explain it.
It's rather hard to believe Kazuma-sama though. He wasn't a clumsy man.
Well, we need to fix this deduction somehow. Is there anything from the scene of the crime that could explain what happened? This one.
Yes!
Mark on the floor.
Yes!
An examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. This particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish.
Shoe polish?
Indeed, positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I carry now as a matter of course. Beeswax, tallow, and dye were my results. The undeniable ingredients of shoe polish. And the color of the shoe polish is a perfect match to the color of Mr. Asogi's laced leather shoes. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. For some reason, Mr. Asogi must have caught his foot on the point of the floor and tripped.
Please, no.
And by a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck against some immovable object as he fell to the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and in that instant he lost his life.
No! I don't know. I don't know anything about this.
That really true, Miss Pavlova? What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Asogi lost his life? Yes, the facts are as clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right, you hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case.
I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama merely tripped over and now he's no more. Can't be true, I refuse to accept it.
I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor does seem to suggest that's what happened.
But...
And if this part of Mr. Shrum's deduction is right, Miss Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. Here in this cabin, somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes.
Where, I wonder?
Let's have a good look around. The answer must be here somewhere. Is it the garbage?
This is a wastepaper basket. Perhaps all first-class cabins have them?
But Miss Pavlova only started occupying this cabin late last night. Presumably there's not much rubbish in there yet. Why wasn't that part of the evidence when we looked at it earlier? God damn it. Oh, what's that?
It's a broken piece of glass, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And I feel like I've seen it somewhere before.
If it looks familiar, perhaps more to you than your mind simply playing tricks on you.
Yes! He's a attorney boy! That's right, you hid evidence that links you to the victim's death in that waste paper basket.
Ah!
Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object, it would seem. One that has a familiar air, in fact. Precisely. We found another piece of broken glass on the floor in Mr. Asogi's cabin. And as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly.
Oh no!
So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that part of this glass object, which was evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in the wastepaper basket in your cabin?
Ah!
You're well acquainted with this glass bell, are you not?
I don't.
I don't know is the hushed Russian accent of yours won't save you this time, dear girl. Why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question.
What?
Take it away, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes. The evidence linking Miss Pavlova to this little glass bell, that would be... Yes! I think, yes, this is the evidence. My dear fellow, that evidence... There's one of Miss Pavlova's trademark dismissals, I would say. Would you do the honors, young lady?
I don't know.
Oh. Perhaps you would care to propose another piece of evidence. The answer is really quite simple. But then there is nothing more deceptive than the obvious fact. Yes. The evidence linking Miss Pavlova to the little glass bell, that would be... not the glass bell, it would be this. Yes! Look at this photograph, you could clearly see. Hanging from darkest collar. The very glass bell in question. Truth has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. The young man who lost his life last night did so after a inauspicious fall. And the cause of that fateful stumble? Your absent feline friend Tarka.
I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry. He tripped over a cat. That's how he died.
Aw, jeez. So I was wrong. Anyway, let's continue this next time, so don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.